Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his apostles, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I've come to bring not peace, but the sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And one's enemies will be those of his household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Whoever receives a righteous man because he is righteous will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because he is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." When Jesus finished giving these commands to his 12 disciples, he went away from that place to teach and to preach in their towns. The Gospel of the Lord. In today's Gospel, we hear one of the most perplexing statements of Jesus, or maybe one of the statements that surprises us, because we know that Jesus was a bringer of peace and mercy and forgiveness, and yet in this Gospel it says that he did not come to bring peace on the earth, but the sword. And so people wonder why Jesus would say this. And the answer, as most of the time, when Jesus says or does something that seems strange, typically it's because he is speaking in an ancient Jewish context, or he's speaking about something that was foretold in the Old Testament. And the same thing is happening here in this passage. There's a famous passage from the prophet Micah talking about the days of the Messiah. And the prophet Micah foretold that when the Messiah would come, it would cause a tremendous amount of division. And division would come because the Messiah was going to basically be demanding of one's entire life commitment. And there would be people who would be for him, and there would be others who would be against him. And so naturally, even within families, there would be divisions that would arise. And so that's what Jesus is talking about here. That with his message, it is not going to bring peace, but rather it's going to bring the sword of division. And there will be households that are split against each other, a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, etc., etc. When Christianity began to really and truly spread, there was much opposition to it, even within families. And that's what Jesus is talking about here. And so when he says, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, right? He's emphasizing this point again. He's not saying it's wrong to love our father or mother. He's just simply saying that many of those early Christians will literally be forced to choose between loyalty to their family or loyalty to Christ. And this was the story of Christianity for really the first number of centuries. And in today's feast day, we celebrate the feast of St. Kateri Tekakwitha, and she, in her own way, is a fulfillment of these words of Jesus as well. St. Kateri Tekakwitha is the first Native American born Native American to be canonized in the Catholic Church. And if you learn about her story, she had a very similar situation to many of the early apostles. She was a member of the Iroquois and the Mohawk tribes, and many of those people in those tribes, they were very opposed to the message that the Catholic missionaries had brought. And so she suffered severe abandonment and persecution because of this. When she became a Christian, she refused to work on Sundays, and the Native Americans thought that she was just being lazy, and so she wasn't allowed to eat on Sundays. And she didn't have a whole lot of friends or companions. She was kind of alone in her fidelity to the Christian faith. But it was really with her conversion, it was one of the very first fruits of the sacrifices of the Catholic missionaries that had come to the New World. Definitely encourage any of you, if you're looking for something to learn about or read or research about the Catholic Church, one of the untold stories is the heroism that was shown by Catholic missionaries and priests to the Native Americans. Here in the United States, typically when we think about the history of the Native Americans, we think about the different ways that they were taken advantage of and forcibly moved and all those other things. But often something that gets overlooked is the tremendous impact the Catholic Church had on the Native Americans. Even to this day, it is said according to statistics that the largest religion among Native Americans is actually Roman Catholicism. It's a fun fact that most of us aren't even aware of. That in the 1800s, there was a tremendous movement of building up of Catholic schools and Catholic churches among the Native Americans, and they were actually made a regular habit of protesting the United States government for forcibly moving them, and kind of sort of messed up the established institutions they had made. Sometimes if you pay attention, like when you see the old black and white photos of many of the old Native American chiefs, a lot of times they'll actually be wearing a crucifix or a cross or some kind. I'm not really sure how this story has gotten so forgotten, but it's there, but sometimes you have to search for it and look for it. There's a book by Dr. Matthew Brunson, which is kind of an overview of the Catholic history in the Native Americans. The Knights of Columbus, just a couple of years ago, they actually made a whole documentary about it. But it's actually a really marvelous and beautiful history. The Native Americans, for the most part, they were very receptive to the Catholic faith. And it's something that is largely forgotten today. And so I would encourage you to do your own study and learning about that, about St. Kateri Tekakwitha, but also many of the other people who contribute to the spread of the Catholic faith in the Native Americans.